We used to talk about going online, right? People live online effectively. Information is online, it's in your pocket in the form of obviously a smartphone. So it's where people turn to in what we talk about sort of in the mobile age is this sort of need for immediacy. I won't go to the extent of saying brand loyalty is dead in all categories, but really if you can find a way to connect with a consumer at the point of need, which tends to be more immediate today because we do have this sort of immediacy and urgency around being able to access stuff, you're starting to go down the path of unlocking value and really understanding them and how best you fit in their day-to-day. So, I mean, in terms of the restaurant industry specifically, we continue to see search queries grow, right? And search queries are what people type into, obviously, kind of the search box on the Google homepage and increasingly on sort of mobiles. Across mobile desktop industry, sort of wide, it's growing at 30%. When we look at specifically on mobile and queries around restaurant and reservations and bookings, they're growing at over 110% year on year. I will say that of the people that use smartphones, 70% of them are using them at home. So whilst we consider the sort of mobile to go hand in hand with being out of home, it's actually 70% of people are using them in home. So it's really replaced sort of desktop in that sense as well. So let's not just think about kind of mobile on the go. It's actually while people are in the home as well.
The interesting thing about Australia as well is that we are the most advanced mobile country in the world, bar none. So the way that we look at that is we look at the ratio between the people that come to Facebook on a desktop and the people that come back on mobile. And the current numbers on that are, we get about 11 million people every day in Australia coming on mobile for around about an hour with a sort of frequency of 14 times. And that is 100%, desktop, 100% mobile. So 100% of the people that come to Facebook every day come on mobile in Australia. And we don't see that anywhere else in the world. So as you said, Sam, we have this sort of really interesting mobile culture here, which is just that little bit ahead of where other places around the world are, even the US and the developed countries. Yeah. Once you have that realization that this is the channel that people are using, and we used to talk about omni-channel in marketing, but mobile is the only real omni-channel. It's with you in the car, it's with you in the supermarket, it's with you on the lounge when you're watching TV. And so you've got this thing that's with you, and then you want to apply marketing 101. So it's like, segmentation, targeting, positioning. So video works really well on a mobile in that context. We did a campaign with New York Bagel Company just in the run-up to Christmas, and they went out, shot a bunch of videos, dropped them into newsfeed with a $15 tripod and like a $20 light, and drove a lead generation campaign off of the bottom of those videos. So people were watching the video, they liked the close-up shots of the food, and then they were going in to open up a lead generation form which populated with Facebook details and signed them up to a program. And they got a 40% increase or improvement in cost per lead on that campaign. So it's like, be really visually engaging in mobile.
There are more, I think, across Australia and predominantly in Victoria, there are more people now employed in hospitality than any other industry. And so people love to go out and consume food. Another statistic that we saw coming out of the US is that restaurants for the first time took more spend than grocery stores in the US in 2016. And so what we're seeing is a real focus from consumers starting to put more money into pre-made foods. And I think we'd like to think about the mobile phone. We talked about how penetrated it is here in Australia. The mobile phone is a tool to give people back their time. People use the mobile phone before they get up in the morning, and they're on Facebook and they're on their news channels, so they don't have to go to the street or to the front driveway to collect their newspaper. They can do it in bed. They use their mobile phone to book restaurant reservations. They use their mobile phone to save them time on odd jobs using companies like Airtasker. We think that this is going to continue to grow, and when you particularly look at food, people now are using their mobile phone to replace the time they spend cooking. The music industry, people like Spotify are doing it very well. They're collecting data from people about the playlists that they're selecting on their iPhones. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that happening in the food space, be it, do you want a reservation at your favourite restaurant because you're in Surrey Hills, or do you want your favourite pad thai delivered because you're in a location where it knows you've ordered that pad thai before? Or do you want, you're at home, it knows you're at home, does it want to push you the ingredients, the basil, the pinch of salt that you need to make a Thai green curry for 4 people? So I think we're only at the beginning of what the data is going to be able to sort of personalise and curate what consumers want. Whilst Australia is ahead of the curve, millennials are still more likely or twice as likely to use their mobile phone in a shop or a restaurant to actually help them make a purchase decision. And so while we've got, I think, 75% coverage of mobiles here in Australia, it's only going to get much stronger in terms of how much people are relying on their mobile phone, be it to just connect with a brand, to be it order or to get a recommendation before they order in a store. So, we're going to see this wave continue for the next 20 or 30 years. We talk about a lot at Uber is that you jump in an Uber on your way home, you've put your destination in and you're going past your favourite restaurant, and perhaps we'll just surface and say, hey, do you want to order your favourite meal on the way home, and the car can pick it up on the way there. So that may not be the utopian, but it is a connection of like, we know where you're heading, we know that your preferences, it's dinner time, can we serve up something or surface something that's really relevant to you there and then? I can see that coming very, very soon.
How can I get more bookings, more customers, more engagement, more awareness through your channels?
So the number one thing I would say to do is try stuff. Go and do something small scale, run an experiment and look at the results. And then if it works, do more of it. So, you might go out and do something really simple like for us, an Instagram food post, or something that generates leads into the restaurant. And then look at what happens. Just apply your basic marketing techniques. So you've shown this to X many people and you generated this many leads or this many inquiries or this many bookings off of the back of that. And then you want to kind of, figure out what works and just play with those ratios.
Do a Google search for Google My Business. It lets you, even without a website or a mobile site, very quickly kind of update opening hours, location, claim your business as your own for a start. So it's a very actionable kind of just make sure that the information there is accurate. And that services for free on a Google search. It's not paid sort of media that needs to go around that, but essentially you then own your place on the web with opening hours, contact details, name, so you are surfacing relevant to folks searching. The Google algorithm, there's many facets that go into it, but the one that you can influence is sort of quality score, which people need to sort of probably focus more time and attention on, particularly around mobile, because what we want to be doing as Google is directing people to a good mobile experience. Having a really good mobile optimized site will allow you to then not have to bid as much on those keywords. If you do own a restaurant in Parramatta or Balmain or Rozelle, then try and use those words as sort of suburb specific, because then you will absolutely know that person is raising their hand, as we kind of term it at Google.
I think just being very clear on what it is that you want to do with your business and your restaurant. Do you just want to reach more consumers that will potentially come to your restaurant, and then you use channels like Facebook and social channels that have a lot of reach? Do you just want to get more orders? Well, then you look at maybe a delivery platform that can bring more orders to you for people that don't want to come to the restaurant. Do you need more capacity because your restaurant is full but you want to serve more people? Well, then you have to look at new locations or new business models or deliveries.